Lindiwe Zulu joins us from our studio in Pretoria. Good evening to you. Minister, you were saying that he's like an elder to you as well.
Yes, good evening and good evening to the viewers. My generation, which is the generation of 1976, always referred to Mendi Msimang, our comrade, as Uncle Mendi, because that's what he was to us, for those of us who spent quite a while in exile, whether it was in Lusaka or whether in Tanzania or whether in the UK where he spent some time. So for me, my memory of him is always one who is very straightforward, one who, if you had to meet with him, you had to know your story, you had to be straightforward, and you had to understand the history of the African National Congress and why you were there. So my heart and the hearts of many of my comrades who spent time under his tutelage would say to the family condolences, and of course to the entire family of the African National Congress. We've lost somebody that gave us confidence, first and foremost, that South Africa was going to be free, but post the freedom of South Africa, he continued to play an important role of guiding us as the younger generation to him.
All right, Minister, thank you for that tribute. You are not only a minister, you're also chair of the International Relations Subcommittee of the ANC. So let's move on to another matter, this BRICS Political Parties Plus dialogue that the ANC is organizing. The BRICS is already its own organizing body. Why would the ANC call a BRICS meeting? I'm not sure I understand.
It's not the ANC calling a BRICS meeting. This was a decision of all the BRICS countries, that the country that is chairing BRICS at a given moment has to call a meeting of all the political parties of BRICS, where the parties can be able to discuss the challenges of today and where the direction of BRICS as political parties, because remember that every BRICS member has got a political party that's either governing, and we also have those that were the original members in government at the time who formed BRICS countries. This also comes out of decisions of the BRICS and plus meetings of civil society, as well as think tanks and others, which took place last year in China. So this is a continuation of the other leg of BRICS, which is not government, because all of us come from governments, because all of us give directive to the government as political parties. It's important for us as political parties to have a grasp and a greater understanding of the role of BRICS, particularly from a political point of view. That's why some of the topics that are going to be discussed are very important topics. We're going to be discussing multilateralism. We're going to be discussing economic development. We're going to be discussing the fourth industrial revolution from a perspective of the political parties, plus others who are invited. May I also take the opportunity to say that in the African continent, we as the African National Congress have invited former liberation movements who form part of the real backbone to the new way of governing and the new way of looking into things, because we need as political parties to share our experiences as political parties. Also, we need to share best practices amongst ourselves. Basically,
Minister,
we're bringing together. Yes.
So you've mentioned a lot of buzzwords, if I can say. Your statement says this is towards building a common agenda, inclusive development, multilateralism. You mentioned the fourth industrial revolution. They are just all the buzzwords combined into one. What tangible could come out of this meeting that will be held this week?
Well, if you can just break it down and not say buzzwords, because the fourth industrial revolution is not a buzzword. That's what's happening in the world, number one. The challenges of social, political and economic facing the entire world is not a buzzword. The challenges that you see in multilateral organizations is not a buzzword. Those are the realities which the entire globe is facing. As parties, we have responsibility towards ensuring that our own governments take the right policy positions, put in place the right programs to address those issues of poverty, unemployment and inequality, including issues which are facing women and youth. Those for us in the African National Congress and all the parties that you're going to be seeing here, those are not buzzwords. Though that's the reality of the world we're facing today, and we all need to have a common approach, particularly as BRICS countries, because we want a new world order. We want a new world order where there's respect for human rights across the board, where there's an understanding of the global challenges that we face, and we have to have conversations with ourselves as political parties and make sure that we all have a common approach to some of the common problems that the world is facing.
Minister, what does the ANC think of BRICS right now? You mentioned respect for human rights. Some would say China doesn't have that. Russia right now categorically spying on other people's elections. It's taken over military vessels in neutral waters. India and China competing. Some say South Africa shouldn't be even part of this grouping. And what is the value of it all?
The reality of the situation that you accept that we have BRICS. What is the makeup of BRICS? The makeup of BRICS is the political parties who then in government are implementing decisions that were taken by BRICS. That's the first thing. The second thing is that as the African National Congress and as South African government, we believe in dialogue. If you put all the issues that you're putting on table and you don't deal with them, you have a problem.
What do you think South Africa has added? I mean, we've been chair of BRICS this year. We're preparing to depart. Do you think we've added a different flavor?
Absolutely. We didn't add a different flavor. We added confidence to BRICS as a bloc of developing countries. We also added value as South Africa, because I know some people will tell you that we are punching above our weight. South Africa belongs to that global world. South Africa has got the capacity to contribute towards ensuring that we have a better world. South Africa, with its experience of negotiations, with its experience of dealing with conflicts all over, not only in the African continent, but wherever we are being asked, we've brought a lot of value into the discussions, and we think that the lifespan of BRICS is just at the beginning, because this is the first 10 years of BRICS, and we remain as members of BRICS because member states of BRICS plus the political parties believe in us as South Africa as equal contributors to creating a better world.
All right, thank you for your time. That was the Minister of Small Business, who's also the International Relations Subcommittee Chair of the ANC, Lindiwe Zulu.